there, welcome back to Handmade No Hallmark, and welcome back to card number 6 of my Christmas in July series. And today I've got these two beautiful snowflake cards using some shimmer powders from Nuvo, some snowflakes, and a couple of really fun greetings. I really hope you enjoy these cards as much as I do. Let's get into it. So I'm going to be using some Nuvo Shimmer powders. I just picked these up and I think they are fantastic. A really fun product to play with. And this is the first time I've used them here on screen. I'm going to show you guys exactly what I experienced when I first used them. So I've got some Canson XL watercolor paper here, and I'm just going to tape it down to this hard surface that I've got here just to kind of help with warping. Because I am going to be spraying this heavily with water. I've been watching a lot of Amy Rasavi's videos over at Prairie Paper and Ink on how she uses shimmer powders, and she is absolutely right that there is a little bit of a learning curve, but practice, practice is all I can really say. Again, this is the first time that I've used them here, and I guess, you really kind of have to just play with them. And it kind of helps you figure out how much water to use, how much product to actually put down on your paper. And I'm really looking forward to kind of playing around with these and experiencing all the different ways that you can use them. I'm just using them this way, where I'm putting the product on the cardstock first, and then I'm going to spray it with my distress sprayer. So again, like Amy mentions, do not squeeze these. Like, this stuff really goes everywhere. I wasn't squeezing them, I was just kind of tapping the bottles, and I had this stuff everywhere. The colors that I'm using is I'm using Lilac Waterfall, Blue BLITZ, and I think that's it. Those are the only two colors that I use. Oh, I used a little tiny bit of Cherry Bomb, and when I tell you I used a little bit, I only, I think I tapped it once, and it went everywhere. Like, you can see on the right side one that there is a lot of pink, and I didn't actually put that much down, so I was kind of like, oh, I wanted it to be more purple. So these two first ones were kind of an experiment just to see what was going on, just to kind of see how they moved, and to see, how much water did I need, how much product, and, I messed around with them quite a bit. And then I set them off to the side to dry. I got out another hard surface here, and I taped down 2 more pieces of cardstock. And this one I decided just to do the one color on each, the Blue BLITZ on the one side and the Lilac Waterfall on the other. And I just wanted to do those 2 colors on these ones. And these are the ones that I went with my cards. And I really love the way that these turned out. And you really have to let these sit. Don't mess with them. Spray them with water and walk away. Just leave them be, let them do their own thing, and you're going to get beautiful results like I did. I was so pleased with these and how they turned out. They are so shimmery and pretty, and I was kind of channeling a card that I made a few years ago. I'll link to the video here, but I wanted to kind of do this kind of snowflake flurry kind of thing down the card. And I really wanted to use the shimmer powders as the background or the back piece to my main card, and put the snowflakes over top of it and different things like that. So once my cards were completely dry, I wanted to make sure they were absolutely dry. I took out one of my waffle flower rectangle dies, and I cut those out so that I had a nice A2 sized card panel here, and it leaves just the tiniest bit of a border on your finished card base. And I'm going to run those through my die cutting machine. Now, there is a little bit of transfer. Like, I know people have asked, does it rub off, the shine? If you, take your finger and you, rub over the shimmer portion, yes, you're going to get some of it on your hand. It's not meant to be handled a whole lot. You're not meant to, really, scrub at it. So, it does come off a little bit, but once it sets for a little bit, I'm messing with it now, and it's coming not coming off at all. That's how you know it's completely dry. Next, while those were kind of setting off to the side to make sure that they were absolutely dry, I was pretty sure they were dry, but just to be sure, I worked on my greetings. These are the Winter and Snow brush strokes dies from Simon Says. These are older, but they're still available. and I really like them, and I didn't get an opportunity to use them last year, so I really wanted to use them on these two cards, and I thought they were absolutely perfect. So I just took the dies and I die cut them out of some scrap cardstock that I found. I honestly don't know what kind it is. And I just triple stacked it, and then I stacked up the same greetings with colored cardstock. Now the purple one you can see here is a different shade than the one that is in the images. At the very last minute, after I had the video done and edited and the pictures taken, I decided I wanted to change it to a darker purple. So I just got a darker cardstock out, die cut it, and stuck it on top. So nothing changed completely. And I really like the darker shade of purple better. I think it goes better with the card, and it makes the greeting stand out just a little bit more. So once I had all of those stacked up here, again, this is one of my favorite ways to add a die cut greeting, especially ones that don't have like a shadow bubble, or they're kind of thin in certain places, or they're kind of small. I like to die cut them and make them more of like a really thick embellishment instead of leaving them flat on their own. I've got some A2 sized top folding card bases here, and I'm going to leave the insides blank just because these are kind of more open-ended. You can use them for any occasion whatsoever. Next, I'm going to take the Tiny Words Christmas stamp set, and I'm going to cut my stamps. I know it's super scary to cut your stamps, but they are fine. They still work. You can still use them together as they're intended to. I just wanted to kind of customize my greeting. So I took the two greetings in the stamp set, the Warm Wishes and Let It Snow, and I cut the Warm Wishes apart so that I could use it on the blue card as Warm Winter Wishes, and the Let It Snow, I wanted just the Let It portion. Now, I probably didn't have to cut the Let It Snow one apart, but I just wanted to simplify it a little bit for myself so I could stamp everything all at once. So I've just got a piece of black cardstock here, and I'm going to stamp it down using some sticky ink. I think I used the Simon Says clear ink, and I'm going to use the Brutus Monroe Sterling Silver Embossing Powder. The reason I wanted to go with the silver is because I'm going to add some silver snowflakes on the main panel when we start assembling the cards. Going to hit this with my heat gun, and then I'm going to trim them apart just using my paper trimmer. I tried very carefully to get them nice and even. Again, I'm not too super concerned if they're perfect. Next, I'm going to take the main panels that have the shimmer powder on them, and I'm going to cover them on the back with some 3M foam tape. This is because the paper is kind of a little bit warped. Even though I did use watercolor paper, it's still warped a little bit because there was a lot of moisture there. So this just kind of helps it lay flat. I think next time what I'll do is I'll try to keep them held down nice and flat for the entirety of their drying process. I did pull them up when they were just about being dry. I took them off the hard surface, so I think next time I'll make sure that they are completely dry before I go ahead and shift them around. So here I've got a bowl full of snowflakes. I went through my stash and just pulled out some random scraps of paper. Some of them are white, some of them are vellum, some are pearlescent, a few might even be like an off-white color. And I die cut them using the Lawn Fawn large stitched snowflakes, and then they're small snowflakes. I really love this die set. I really think it's a great kind of staple to have because they give you so many in the die set that you really only need I think this one set if you like the stitching. I personally like the stitching. I think it adds a really nice effect, and I really think it's a wonderful set. So I just went around and kind of layered up the different snowflakes, tried to make sure I had different sizes, some large ones, and as I was going through I realized I needed a few more of the silver ones just to kind of help even it out. Once I was happy with the amount of snowflakes that I had, I kind of got them in where I wanted them to go. I do kind of shift them around as I started hearing them. This was just kind of to give me an idea of how many I wanted to place. I probably could have added more. I probably could have added less, but I was just kind of going for like a happy medium and what I felt looked just about right. Once I'm happy with it, I'm going to go ahead and start adhering it down. I started out using my Tombow Mono liquid adhesive, which is, it's a really nice adhesive because it does dry clear, and I do really like it, but it doesn't dry quite fast enough. So I did end up swapping back to my my Barely Arts adhesive just because it dried a little bit faster. It held on, like the grip on the glue is a little bit quicker, and that's kind of what I needed for this, especially whenever I was going in with the vellum pieces that were, they kind of curled up a little bit when they went through the die cutting. So using the Barely Arts in this instance was probably a better bet, just because they did curl just a little bit. Using some of my acrylic blocks to help hold down the kind of the big bunches of snowflakes, just to make sure that everything gets adhered down nice and flat. I mean, I wasn't concerned if they were super flat because I didn't mind the dimension that the snowflakes give, just to make sure that they held and dried before I moved on and started with the other snowflakes. So again, I'm just going around and adding on the snowflakes, just trying to make sure I have room for my greeting, and I decided I wanted to get it added on. And again, this color on here is different than the final images because I do go in and change that greeting after I had everything done. I felt like I needed it to be a little bit richer, a little bit darker, just to stand out a little bit more in the background. So as I'm going through here, I'm going to add on the other part of my greeting just so I don't get too carried away with the snowflakes and I don't have room for my greeting. And I'm just going to adhere that down nice and flat to the card base, and it will say "Let It Snow." And I really think that the small amount of black is okay. It doesn't take away from what we've got going on with the greetings or anything like that. And I took my aqua shimmer pen and added just a little bit of shimmer to the greetings, and then I can go in and add a few more things to my snowflake cluster here. I'm going to add the Tailored Expressions clay snowflakes, and I'm going to be using the large ones and the small ones. I really felt like these fit really, really well with this this card. I just love this so much. Again, it reminds me of a card that I created a few years ago. I did like a snow flurry scene, but I did ink blending in the background instead of doing like this shimmer powder, kind of like this watercolor look. Gonna finish this one up with just a few more snowflakes here and there. I left the insides of these blank because I feel like they're a little bit more open-ended. They could be used for Christmas or for just the winter time or for somebody's birthday, anything like that. I really think this was a fun way to kind of create a winter themed card, but without really having a generalized meaning behind it. Next, I'm going to move on to the blue card. Going to do the same exact thing. I'm going to speed through this one just a little bit, just because it's the same process as I did on the first card, and just to kind of make the video a little bit shorter so you're not bored watching me do the same exact thing. So I went through on the blue card and arranged all the snowflakes in where I wanted them, like I did on the first card, and I put the winter script kind of more in the center on this one, and put the two greetings that go around it, the warm and wishes. So it says warm winter wishes on the top and the bottom of it, and I really like this one. I think this one's my favorite out of the two. I just love the way that the silver and the blue look together, and I just think it is so pretty. Again, these shimmer powders were so fun to use, so easy to play with, and I plan on playing with them again. I've got another idea that I want to try out with these, and if you like this card, please hit the like button as well as the subscribe so you don't miss out on any more videos here at my YouTube channel and during my Christmas in July series. I really hope you enjoyed these two cards featuring some shimmer powders, lots of snowflakes, and a lot of fun. They were truly a joy to create, and I can't wait to use these powders again. And I really hope you're enjoying the Christmas in July series so far. I've had so much fun creating it, and I really can't wait for the holiday seasons to really start kicking off. Again, I really hope you enjoyed these two cards. I truly appreciate all of your support and all of your wonderful comments, and I can't wait to share with you my next projects. I'll see you again real soon. Bye!
on screen, I've got a few videos that I think you'll enjoy. Consider hitting the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any more videos at my YouTube channel.